Can you afford it? Can you spend money on this particular item you really want? All right, we're diving into the 0.01% spending rule. I never heard of it before until I stumbled on this article. So it's the 0.01%, which is 1/100th of a percent. Not a tenth of a percent, but 1/100th of a percent. So, okay, you know the feeling that standing in line at the burrito place, you're debating if the extra guac is worth it. Because they always ask you, hey, you okay paying extra for the guacamole? Or you're sitting at your computer, mouse hovering over the upgrade to first class button for your next flight. Well, today we're tackling a brand new personal finance rule, at least it's new to me, straight out of the Wall Street Journal. It's one that promises to take the stress out of those little, maybe they're little splurges. And it's called the 1/100th of a percent rule. So what is the 1/100th percent rule or the 0.01% rule? Well, here's how it works. If you're torn about making a purchase, you don't need to worry unless it costs more than 1/100th% of your net worth. That means for someone with $500,000, $500,000 to their name, you could spend $50, completely worry-free. Boy, if guac is costing that much, we're in some trouble. If your net worth is more, bump up those numbers. If it's less, of course, you dial it back a little bit. So it's supposedly a super simple way to answer that, can I afford this question, without sweating every latte or impulse buy. Okay, simple maybe. I'd have to pull out my HP 12C to calculate the 1/100th of a percent of my net worth. All right, so some guy named Nick Maggiulli created the rule after seeing people paralyzed by minor spending decisions. It's kind of a sanity check for the tightwads and the penny pinchers. Maggiulli admits the inspiration came from a Jay-Z lyric. Yeah, I heard that guy's some kind of a rapper. Not some dusty finance textbook. So put away the spreadsheets for a second. It's a rule you can do in your head. Well, so says that article, but I'm not sure I can do it in my head. I can do 10% of most things in my head, but 1/100th of a percent, yeah, I'm pulling out the HP 12C. So why does it matter for folks, especially if you're getting up there in years, maybe over 50? Well, as we move past age 50, budgeting and spending often feel less about saving for the next big thing and more about protecting what we've built. Many of us are shifting from earning to spending, and yeah, that can be a little uncomfortable. It's hard to give yourself permission to spend, especially when every dollar feels like it should be earmarked for the future, like medical bills, maybe you want to travel, or maybe helping out the kids or grandkids. The 1/100th of a percent rule helps flip that script. It says, hey, if you've built up a solid financial foundation, it's okay to loosen up a little bit. Small indulgences. You can upgrade your seat on a plane or buy higher quality shoes. Well, because it's not likely to sabotage your long-term financial security. It isn't carte blanche, mind you, but it's a reminder that enjoying your money, well, that's part of life, part of a healthy financial life. It's what we worked for. And for retirees and near retirees, it's a quick rule that gives you a reference to stop feeling guilty about every small expense. Yeah, order that guac. Order that extra-sized frappuccino. As one online commenter said, it helps shift thinking from, I must save every single penny, toward, okay, I can safely enjoy a little now and then. But is this rule right for everyone? Yeah, probably not. Just like most rules are not right for everyone, but they can apply in a case. After all, what was the Dave Ramsey rule about spending without asking your spouse? I think at least a few years ago it was $300 they felt each other could spend without checking with the spouse. All right, well, no financial rule is one size fits all. Some experts do question the logic behind the 1/100th of a percent rule. Specifically, hey, why isn't it 2/100ths of a percent? Or 1.5 of a percent? Or some other made-up number? After all, it's just a made-up number, right? And for those with tighter budgets, even small purchases could set you back. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck or your net worth is lower than you'd like, the margin for error, shrinks. So consider your unique situation and priorities. For folks who've moved past the accumulation stage and are into the spend and enjoy phase, a guideline like this, well, it could be freeing, especially if it helps prevent decision fatigue and lets you focus on the big financial choices. And not just buy another toy for the sake of having another toy sitting around in the garage. All right, here's 3 things you can do starting today. Why not just calculate your 1/100% threshold and see what it is? So take your net worth, the value of your house, your investments, your bank accounts, subtract out the debts, and then figure out what 1/100% is of that. Yeah, see, I'm thinking of it in my mind. I've still got to pull out a calculator. That's your guilt-free spending limit for those frustrating little decisions. So maybe it turns out it's $75. Maybe it's only $20. Whatever it is, knowing your number helps you stop sweating the small stuff. And you can use the rule for marginal upgrades. So next time you're choosing between basic and deluxe, or deciding if that extra cocktail actually matters, it doesn't. Apply the rule. If that upgrade falls below your 1/100% limit, well, you can enjoy it without stressing about long-term consequences. Small comforts, they matter, especially as we get older and appreciate quality over quantity. And don't forget about the old needs versus wants. This rule isn't a license to buy everything in sight. It's really kind of a sanity check. You still got to ask yourself, do I really want this? Or, hey, is this something I really need? If you don't wait, but, well, it genuinely improves your daily life and falls below your limit, well, it's probably safe to go for it. That way, the small joys don't become big regrets later. Should you adopt this 1/100% rule? Well, just like all the financial choices out there, it's personal, and I'm certainly not recommending it for anybody. Just informational purposes only. The most successful retirees I've worked with are folks who balance careful planning with a healthy dose of enjoyment. So let the numbers guide you, but don't let them lock you into a cage. Small spoils can make a big difference in day-to-day happiness without putting your nest egg at risk. So if you find yourself agonizing over every little spending decision, well, the rule might be just the nudge you need. So give it a try the next time indecision strikes, and let me know how it makes you feel. Why not drop a line in the comments below how this rule feels, or if you use some other kind of a rule to curb spending or decide if it's too much or it's not a big deal. Do you check with your spouse even? So love to hear your thoughts on that one. And if you have another rule in mind that might help other folks, that'd be great to hear about as well. All right, so in the meantime, I'll see you in the next episode.